Hey, what's up, friends? I'm Will, and I'm super happy to be doing this today because I've got a great idea. And to think about it, I stayed up watching videos super late trying to figure out what I was going to paint today, and now it's going to happen. So you might hear some crazy stuff in the background. It's okay. We're about to get into this, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Ready? There we go. And now we go. And now. All right, there we go. So, um, I saw some amazing artists last night, and what they did was they created things that looked like they had light behind it, and that's just from the contrast between the lights and the darks, and it was amazing. And so, I'm gonna try to do that again today. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it, but it was super cool when they did it, so I want to do it too. So, just misted up my paints a little bit right there. And we'll be taking some darker blues, some black, some orange and yellow, and maybe even some purple. But yeah, man, it was so cool. You would not believe this guy's paintings. If I could be half that artist, I would be twice the artist I am now. All right, guys. So one thing he did, or one thing we're gonna do, we're not trying to recreate his painting. What we're trying to do is get some similar things in. Now I know we're starting with a heavier value first, and most of the time you start with the lighter values first, and then build up from there. But that's something we're doing. So we'll be using a lot of this blue here today. And I'm not really trying to do a wash here. I'm trying to get really heavy, uneven texture. I don't want any of the white, but I do want this steel blue and gray to come out of it. And because as we start developing this, some of the interest is going to come from the textures we make. And make sure and stay out of this kind of drawing. Putting it in early. At some point, we're going to transition to a little bit of a mix of the blue, blue and black. No, not this. And yes, I do know a wash would be a much more efficient way to do this, but I'm not trying to do that. And keep the paints really thick, so we can get the values between very heavy and very light. Lots of extra water in this one. We should be using water brush. Those would help my pigment carry a long way without having to do it like a wash tape. Let's go to the other side. Actually, let's do a little something in the middle here. So I'm going to take this orangish reddish color here, right here, and we're going to mix it into that bag. First, I'm going to take a bit of clean water and make sure that's nice and cleaner. Doesn't have to be perfect, but Alright, so we're going to get some of this orangish red. Beautiful, beautiful color. And we're going to yellow it up just a touch. Just have the lightest touch with it. You don't really want a whole lot. And we'll dip that orange brush right back in that yellow. Some of y'all would have it. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe what you just did. I can't believe it. Just can't. Got my other clean one off screen. It's right there. It's less clean now than it was, but clean enough. And grab some of this not crazy bright yellow, although there might be a point for where we're going to want this other crazy. Yellow. Crazy yellow. The rest of that work. So my computer's doing something weird today. So the other day, for the first time ever, it told me that my computer didn't have enough resources to run all the USB things. And I'm sure y'all know the USB. I won't mansplain that to anybody. But told me I had didn't have enough resources, and I'm like, wait a minute. For the last like 6 or 7 days, I've had enough resources, and the last tons of videos I've done, I've had why now do I not have enough resources? Computers are dumb sometimes. I cheap brushes so I can do this and not feel guilty about it. This is where I want more. I'm not sure if I'm even going to be successful the way I'm doing this, but I'm not going to try. So we're just building this up layer by layer. We want to at some points make it start to look like there's light coming from somewhere. And so we'll start that in a second. Right after I said I'm not going to do a wash, that's what he does. He did it. Get some of the blue that we started to wet earlier. I'm going to mix it with a little bit more black, just so we can get an even gradient from, even-ish gradient from what we had earlier from this black over here on this side. So we got this blue in here. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of black. Pretty sure it's gonna overwhelm it quickly. Oh, there we go. Whoop. Oops. Okay. Alright, so we got this really rich, saturated blue here. Let's use a water pen. Let's get us some extra water on. Oh, that's this one. So it's a whiter brush. This one will be better for the wash type things anyway. Squish in the water pen. And is that enough? Let's go. There's no pigment on this brush, just loaded it up with water. So now I'm going to go a little bit deeper. Well, that's going to be the end of it for the moment. And I'll come back through and build up some of these fibers. And pull away some of them on there. It's just so light. So I need to darken it up and to pull some of that color back across. I'm a little worried right now about adding too much water to this area because I can see the paper want to do what watercolor paper do. It starts to kind of want to pull up and stuff. I'm going to come back to that side in just a second. I'm going to try something now that I've done it. That's so beautiful. Freaking love that. Kind of as you paint it further on, drop the pigment in there. It kind of just wants to spread out on its own. So beautiful. Actually, Holly Ann suggests I do this. And I technically knew how to do a wash, but just because you've studied it and you know about it doesn't mean you know it. Actually, this is kind of given more of a texture that I'm looking for. It's going to have to be much darker, but it's more of an uneven, dappled type of texture. Black. Start. I don't know, I keep cleaning my brush instead of just wetting it. This blue that we had last time. It's going to be more black than it was before, though. Still looks like nothing. It's going to come to something really quickly. the last couple times I've been really careful. I'm not trying to be so careful right now. I'm kind of trying to enjoy myself in the process. Oh, I'm not shaking the whole thing. You guys watching more TV? Oh, I should mention that. As I was saying, kind of, I was watching the videos. So the guy's videos that I was watching, it's not even this medium, but I liked what he was doing. So I want to try to recreate what he was doing in a different medium in a different way. Grab a little bit more of this orange red here. Let's give it a little bit more shape, maybe a little bit more interest and texture. So my son has a girlfriend right now, and it's kind of been fun teaching him like all the things that gentlemen do. And so the other day he came home. I was like, "So what's her favorite movie?" And he was like, "I don't know." I was like, "Oh, all right. So what does she like to do for fun?" Like she likes to draw, and I was like, "Get it? Okay, seriously, you gotta be a student of your woman. Like you're gonna need to study her as well as she'll study you, because I guarantee you she knows 10 more things about you than you could ever know about her." And so he was like, "Oh, okay, or whatever." And so I was like, "I'm serious, dude. You gotta ask her questions. You're gonna have to ask her questions and ask her what she thinks about things, and like what does she want to do when she grows up." Like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "Oh my goodness." And I just couldn't help but wondering if I was that clueless when I was young too. Oh my goodness, it's kind of funny though. I'm trying to watch a young man trying to figure himself out, and figure having a girlfriend out. He swears he knows it all, but whatever. It's taking some extra water to lay spots in it to mottle it up a little bit. And actually, I probably just go ahead and wet it the whole time. Whatever. No big deal. It's okay. It's okay. Alright. I wish I was painting with acrylics right now because I could go back in and repaint this fine edge of whites that I would want. Just a fine line of whites, or maybe even like yellows right against the edge here. Oops. Well, frick. Okay, so I'm running out of white here. Let's just incomplete that. Now I'm going back through and I'm trying to blend in this edge a little bit. Here we go. I'm going to make that edge softer because it's really hard right now. It's kind of cool. It almost gives it shape a little bit. Well, I don't know if you can entirely see it from where you're sitting and viewing, but you definitely see the shape that's given to it. They kind of scrub out the pigment, kind of push it to the side. Makes it look like it's thicker on the edge. So you know when light shines behind something, it kind of, on the edge is where it kind of circles back around, and on that edge it always looks, I don't know, like it's thicker or something. And so, let me see. Here we go. Turn up the contrast. Down the contrast? Well, anyway, the camera can never be as good as the naked eye. So in this, there's a ton of texture here, but it's kind of hard to see just kind of where it's sitting at. Maybe that's a little bit easier. I'll turn up the sharpness a little bit. Okay. No. You know what? I'm going to need a darker color. Hold on just a minute. We're going to need to put this dark color up over that, because if you can barely tell it here, let's turn this into that color. You can barely tell what's happening there. No. Still kind of hard to tell, but if there is an infinite variation of texture and stuff here. I mean, this isn't something I would ever sell and make millions, but it's definitely much different. I'm going to add some of this black. I had mixed the black and blue in here earlier, so it's going to be just slightly more than steel. Reactivate this color that kind of fell off to the side. I don't know if you can hear the kids out there, but they sound like they're having so much fun. Yeah, it's kind of cute. It's kind of cute. You know, I think when I was younger, I really did not want to hear any sort of kid in it. I found it obnoxious, it was dumb, kids are dumb. And then kind of like the older I get, the more I'm interested in hearing kids. I enjoy hearing them play, and like that freedom that we used to have when we were that little. And well, something about it, it's kind of special. I think it was more of a magenta when I'm pulling it up. I thought it was a darker red, but it's kind of magenta-ish. We'll see how it layers over this orange. Orangish magenta. So it sounds like somebody's dying out there. Okay, so we work lighter to dark. How would we get some more dark? Increase the pigment load. That could always work. But as we're increasing the pigment load, yeah, I guess we would make those other areas look brighter. It brings in contrast. You know what? I have been thinking about going back to just acrylics. That's it. Like, nothing else. And I think pretty close to ditching watercolors here. I hate the thought of quitting something before I'm even proficient in it. It drives me nuts. Alright, so what would you do? It's fairly clear that I'm a watercolor novice. So, the only things I can think of are make the blacks blacker and darker so that these other colors look brighter. Putting down all the pigment I've got right there in that part. So I'm adding a little bit of that black through here. Trying to kind of give it some contrast. That's a lot of black. Looks like it's coming too purple, doesn't it? I wonder if there's more blue. This is more blue than I thought it was. If that were the case, then that purple, that'd have to be the case because that purple is more accounted for that way. my dog is still barking. From whatever reason he started barking earlier, he still feels the need to bark right now. I don't know why. Trying to create these lines inside of it. So what I'm trying to do with these lines is I'm not entirely sure actually. Okay. That's a pretty black. I feel like this change those maybe a little bit. Just going back and thinking about it now, I want to take some thin down acrylics and sprinkle it over it in a place and kind of give it a little bit more interest across the wing, but you can't do that with watercolor. Oh man, so many rude awakenings on this one. Rude. Pulling up the black next to it a little bit more. I know I'm taking away some of the contrast of the piece, but I just feel like right thing to do. Well, okay, so definitely, I really do enjoy the process of creation. Sometimes it works out amazing. Sometimes it's, that's not. uh, Alright, on to South here. Because I don't know what to do anyway. So, this has got a couple things I'd say about it. It's a watercolor painting, and it's got a lot of pigments on it. It's about what I got. Alright guys, oh, let's unmask this. Kind of see what it feels like with. I love these lines when they get all stratified. Alright, so, oh, and I taped it down underneath the bottom so it wouldn't wrinkle as much because I knew I'd be working with a lot of water. So what I did is I took, I read this on a, something or another, anyway. So what the guy does is he takes his masking tape and he rolls it double, like that. And so when he pushes down on it, and he knows he's going to be using a lot of heavy washes, it continuously pulls it flat. And so that's what I attempted out here, because, yeah, sure, I used a whole lot of washes. So, see, on the back, but 4 different sets. As long as I'm tearing it at an angle, it's not. As soon as I say that, it does that. It rips a little bit. I must have gotten a lot of water pigment on the other side. Boom. Punch you guys in the head while I'm at it. Okay, so you know what? It's not a masterpiece, but I had fun doing it. I'm going to continue to work on it. Now look at this. I want to try painting with a, what's it called? Palette knives. That looks so much fun. I was watching some oil painters do it. They were incredible. Anyway, so all that being said, once this dries and stuff, I will post this video. But for reals, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. It's beautiful outside. I don't know if it's beautiful where you're at, but it's pretty awesome where we're at right now. So anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Will Black. Stop it! Stop recording.